What's up you data friends, it's Yanis here and welcome to my channel. Now please note that this video is actually video part 2 of the series on how to build this automated and interactive Power BI dashboard using a publicly available dataset on coronavirus. In video part 1, I have explained from where to download the publicly available dataset on coronavirus from the Johns Hopkins University GitHub repository. I went through how to run some Python code in order to clean and transform that data, and then I have shown you how to take a new Power BI file and create this main summary and the global map from scratch. So if you have not watched part 1 video first, I highly recommend doing that before watching this video. Right, starting from where we left it in the previous video, the first thing I want to do is to fix this number over here. So in this card, instead of using the total daily and sum the daily deaths, I have actually summed the cumulative deaths and it's giving me the wrong number. So all I have to do is to each the cumulative deaths with the actual deaths daily and it's going to give me the right number. The next thing I want to do is to select the field and actually add the comma so it looks the same in all of them. There we go, it's correct. The next thing I want to do is to download new data because it's been 3 days now since the last video, so we have some new data. So all I have to do is go to the GitHub repository I'm going to have in the link in the description, click download and download the new data. Then copy that new data in the directory you have used for your Python script and rerun the Python script as it is. The next thing you want to do is to open the Power BI file and then right click on the dataset and click refresh and we should see some new data now. So this number should go up. There you go, you can see. So we have 42 days worth of data now versus 39, which was the previous video. So we have 3 new data points and those 3 new data points is basically the 3 dates of March. And you can see that all these numbers now went up and we are using the most up-to-date data. Right, moving on, the next thing we want to do is to create graphs that show trends. And the first trend we want to investigate is the confirmed cases per day. So we click on the line chart over here on the top right. We make this a bit smaller. And then in the axis, we want to put the date, actually the date, not the date hierarchy. So you can click here and select the date. And in the values, we want to add the confirmed daily. So we add this one over here. And what we see in this line graph now is how many confirmed cases of coronavirus we get per day. And as you've noticed, it's a lot more flat versus what you see out in the internet or in the news. And this is because we are just using the numbers per day. We are not adding them up to show a cumulative view, which I'm going to show you how to do that later on. The next thing you would notice as a data scientist is that there was a massive spike on the 13th of February. So you should go and investigate why this has happened. So when I've done some Googling, I found out that the spike was due to a change in how cases are counted. So basically, if you read a bit more, you're going to find out that they have changed how they classify coronavirus cases as confirmed. And then if you keep reading, you're going to find out that they have actually changed it back the next day because it was not that accurate. So I found this in both BBC and The Guardian, so you can go and read this yourself or do some more research yourself. Next, I want to make this a bit smaller and make it look nicer. So add the border, add the title, change the colors. So I can click on this field over here, go into home and click on format painter and then touch on the line graph. So you can see straight away it added the border. Also it added a title. Now I want to change the title. So I'm going to go into the title and change the title into confirmed cases by date and the forecast because I'm going to show you how to do a forecast too. The next thing I want to do is to change the color of confirmed cases to this color over here and this color we have on the map just to keep things consistent. So I go into data colors and I change this one into this. This is too much, is it? Maybe this one. No, this is too light. I'm going to keep this one. Right, now I want to add the data labels too so we can actually see the numbers. So these are the data labels. And also I want to change the color of the data labels into this color too. The next thing we want to add in our graph is forecasting. And since this is time series analysis, Power BI is using a technique called exponential smoothing, which is based on simple moving averages. You can go on and read about it in Google. To add it now in our graph, all we have to do is click on the graph, go here where it says analytics, and scroll down into forecast and click on add. So when we click on add, what we see is that it creates a line, a constant line ahead of our time, so ahead of the date, and it has 10 data points, which is basically the forecast length we have over here, and then it has the lower bound and then the upper bound, which is basically the confidence interval. Now looking at the options we have over here, the first thing it asks us is how many data points do you want me to predict for you? And this is where we have 10. I'm going to set this to 5. Then it's asking us if we want to ignore anything. I'm going to explain this. Let's skip this for now. I'm going to come back to it. And then it's asking us what value we want to set our confidence interval. So I'm going to leave it at 95%. And what this means is that we are 95% confident that the next data point we are going to predict is going to be within the lower bound and the upper bound we see over here. And the last thing we have is seasonality, which is very tricky for our case as it's a virus and we don't have seasonality in a virus. It's not like we are saying in the summer we are expecting to see more virus cases versus the winter. But just to help you understand what seasonality is, if we were predicting the number of ice cream sales for a month and then we have 12 months worth of data, then the seasonality, it was going to be 12. Just because after 12 months is a new season and we take a cutoff point and we start as a new season. For our case, I'm going to use 15 data points as a seasonality, and what this is going to do is that it's going to take the first 15 data points, then take a cutoff point, then repeat that, take a cutoff point, and then calculate the moving average to do the forecast. So I put 15 here, I click apply, and as we can see, it readjusted and we have our forecast going forward. Additionally, we also want to change some of the colors, so I'm going to change the color into the same color as we have with the line. So there you go, you can see it. Also, we can change the line from style from solid into, let's say, dashed. The next thing I want to show you is this ignore last number of points, which is actually going to help you see how well your prediction is going forward. So if I put 5, for example, here, and I click apply again, what you see is that it skipped these 5 data points. It gave us a prediction based on this data set, so without using the 5 data points, and then it overlaid the actuals on top. So as you can see, we are not far off for the next, when we're predicting the next 5 data points. And we also have this massive spike here, which is skewing our numbers. Additionally, I want to increase the forecast length into 10 now. So I'm able to both see how well I'm performing in terms of the prediction and also see the forecast going forward. Right, now I want to repeat the same process for total deaths and total recoveries. So first thing I'm going to do is to make this a bit smaller so we have more space. So I'm going to select the graph, go into general, and then change the width to be 485, and then change the height to be 239. Click enter. Now I want to copy this and paste it twice. So copy, paste, that's going to be the deaths, and then paste again. That's going to be the recoveries over here. And then I'm going to select all 3 of them, go into format, distribute, and distribute horizontally. Right, now I want to change the fields. So this one is going to be, I have recoveries in the published report. So I'm going to use recoveries over here. So I'm going to switch confirm daily with the recover daily. Then remove the confirm daily. I'm going to change the title and the colors. So I go into data colors, I change this to this light green over here, maybe this one. I want to change the data labels into a stronger green. I also want to change the title now into, let me hide this so you can see. And then the title, I'm just going to paste it in. It's going to be the cases, the recover cases by date and forecast. Now we need to repeat the same process to do the forecast because we don't have the forecast now. So all I have to do is go into analytics, Go into the forecast, click on add forecast. I want to forecast the next 10 data points. I want to leave 5 behind, 95%, and then I want to use 15 as seasonality. I click apply. There we go, we have our forecast. As you can see, recoveries are going up, which is good. I also want to change the data color into, let's see, this data color. We want to change the line to be a dashed line, and there we go, we have our forecast. Now we want to do the same with deaths, so I go into this graph, I replace the confirmed daily with the deaths daily. I remove that. I need to change the colors to be data colors. I want them to be red, and then the data labels, I also want them to be stronger red. Let's change this custom. Let's use a strong red. There we go. I also want to change the title now, and the title, I'm just pasting it in. It's going to be the deaths by date and the forecast. Now we want to do the forecast. So we go at the top again, we click on analytics, we click on forecast, we click on add. We want to forecast the next 10 data points the same, ignore 5, 95%, and then use 15, click apply. As you can see, we are way out, and this is because of this big spike over here on the 13th of February, which is skewing our data in all the cases, which we have explained why, but we cannot do anything about it. We can actually go and manually remove it, but we don't want to do that. We want to keep the data as it is. Now I want to change the coloring, so I go back to the forecast, I select the color to be red, and then I also want to change the solid line to be dashed. There we go. Another thing I want to do in all graphs that I haven't shown you is to add a small background behind each number. So if I go back here, then I go into the data labels, and then I scroll down and say show background, you can see it creates this nice background, so the number is easier to read. So I'm going to repeat the same in all of them. There we go. So we have all of our trends now for all confirmed cases, recovered cases, and deaths. And we also have our forecasts. Next, we want to create the cumulative graphs. So we click over here where it says stack column chart. In the axis, we want to use the date and then change this into the actual date, not the date hierarchy. In the values, we want to use confirmed now, not confirmed daily. Right, let's fix this and then try and explain the graph. So first, I'm going to copy the formats from Format Painter and do the same down here. So I add the border and the title. Then I want to change the title and the colors. So in the title, I want to clearly say that this is a cumulative confirmed cases. And then in the colors, data colors, I want to change the colors into the same color as above. Now, explaining this graph, this is actually the graph that you see everywhere in the internet, in the news, in other YouTube videos, and not everyone clearly understands this graph. They assume, it gives you the impression that day by day the numbers are actually increasing, which is not the case. The numbers are not increasing day by day. The daily numbers is the trend we see above here. The cumulative numbers now is when we add everything together. So each day we get a new number, we add it on top of it. And this makes it look that there is a massive increase, while the truth is that the numbers are not massively increasing. So it's really crucial to clearly label your graphs so people understand what they are actually seeing. Next, we want to repeat this graph for the recovered cases and the deaths. So I'm just going to copy this graph and paste it over here. I'm going to switch the confirm to the recover, not the daily one. So we have the cumulative numbers. Now I need to go and change the title. So the title is going to be cumulative. I'm going to say recoveries. Then I want to change the data labels to be green, and then the data colors to be green too. So I think this green is fine. Now I'm going to copy this again, paste it next to it, and do the deaths. So order it over here. I want to switch the recovers with the deaths, not the daily ones, remember? There we go. I want to change the colors now to be red, and then the data labels, I want them to be this red over here. And then I want to change the title, as we explained before, to be cumulative deaths. By the way, if you feel that you're getting enough value out of this video, I would really appreciate it if you click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and enable notifications for my future videos. Right, the next thing we're going to do is to add the country and region breakdown. So I'm going to copy this title over here and paste it down here so I can create a new section. There we go. I'm going to copy the name from this report and paste it over here. And now we have the country and region breakdown analytics. So here we want to create a table. So I click on the table over here. And the fields I want to add in this table, I'm going to start with the country and region, which is the first field I want to see. Okay, delete this one. It created its own table. That's fine. Straight away, I want to make it a bit smaller because I'm not going to use the whole space. I want to go into general and I want to change, in the style, and I want to change it from default to be minimal. And then I need to start adding now which values I want to see per country. So the fields I want to see is the confirm daily. I can either drag it here in the table or I can just drag it under here. Then I want to see how many people have died. So it's going to be the deaths daily. Make sure you use the daily fields and not the ones without the daily, because it's going to be the cumulative numbers and it's going to be wrong. By the way, if I click on it, you can see it's ordering the data by the column you click on it. So most deaths or most confirmed cases. Then we want to see the mortality rate, or we've named it differently on this report. It's called CFR. So I click back, I find CFR, I drag it here. So it's the percentage. Then I want to see the total recoveries. So it's going to be the recoveries daily, and then the recoveries rate. And now I want to create 3 new fields. To create these 3 new fields now, we right click on our data set, we click on new measure. We want to name this field as the average confirm daily equals, and this is going to be equals the sum of daily confirm divided by the number of days. So the number of days is going to be count distinct count, and this is going to be the date. So rotate that date, and then we close this one. Actually, I'm going to copy this so I can paste it and create the other 2. So I can quickly Control C, I click enter. And then just to visualize it quickly, just to see if it works, if I add it here, we can see that on average, mainland China has about 1,900, so almost 2,000 cases per day on average. So basically China is driving, most of the numbers, all these numbers, which I'm going to show you how to create the percentage later on. Next, we want to create the next field, which is going to be the average recoveries per day. So create new field, I paste this and I rename it into average recoveries daily. And this is going to be the sum of not the confirm, but the recovers daily. So you can see, we can quickly change them. Click enter, then we have the recoveries, and we also want to add the deaths. So right click again, new measure, I paste the measure, I rename it into average deaths daily, and then I change the confirmed daily into deaths daily. Then I click enter. Now I just drag them in just to view them. So shall I put recoveries or death first? So let's put deaths first because that's what we have online. And then we have recoveries. There we go. So we have, on average, again, mainland China has about 70 deaths per day. And then on average, they have about 1,128 recoveries per day. Next, I want to make this table look nicer now. So I click on it, I go into general, and I'm going to change the width and the height. So I'm going to set the width into 884 and the height into 381. Then I want to add a title and a border. So I click on here, I click on Format Painter, and then I click down to the table. As you can see, it changed the style. So I need to go back into General and Style and change it back to minimal. There we go. The next thing I want to do is to add conditional formatting into the case fatality rate. So what I want to say is create a rule that says if the number is between 0 to 2, then put it as green, as in is very low. If the number is between 2 to 4, let's say, it's going to be green, and if it's 4 and more, it's going to be red, as it's too high, let's say. but you can use any numbers or rules you want. I'm just going to show you this in case you want to add some conditional formatting based on rules. To do this now, we go into the conditional formatting. Down here, we click on we select the column we want to change. So this is going to be the case fatality rate. We want to enable the background over here, and as you can see, it created its own, but we want to change it and base it on rules. So we click on advanced controls, and then here where we have the format by, and then we have a color scale, I want to change it into rules. So the first rule is going to be that if it's greater or equal to 0 and then a number, and it's less than, let's say, 0.02%, then this is going to be light green, as it's kind of, it's very low, so it's good. I know it's not good, but we want it to be as low as possible. Then we want to add a new rule, and the new rule is going to be if it's between 2% or 0.02 number, and it's less than 0.04%, then it's average, let's say it's yellow. And then the last rule is going to be if it's greater than 0.04 and then less than, because this is going to be a number, I'm going to say 1 here, or I don't know, any number, it's going to work. Click OK, and then you can see that any country that is in between 2 to 4 is going to be yellow. Any country that is going to be green, it means that it's less than 2% and is good. And then any country that has more than 4%, then it's going to be red. So straight away you can see that the US have actually more than 4%. Next, we also want to add a conditional formatting on the recovery rate. So again, we go back into conditional formatting, we go into recovery rate, and we want to do a simple one now. So we enable the background color, and we say the higher the better, but I'm going to change the green into a lighter green, and the lower the worse, and I'm going to change that into a very light red too. The next thing I want to do is to add a title. So I go into titles and I add a title here, which is going to be a country region breakdown. Additionally, I also want to remove the decimal places in the 3 calculated fields we have just created. So I click on them, I go into modeling, then I just say, let's add the comma, and then let's remove it. We go, it works. Same with this one, so we add the comma, we remove it. Actually, wait, this is not percentage, this is number, yeah, sorry. So we add the comma, we remove it. Correct. Next, I want to change the namings because the namings are not very good. So the first one, I go over here into the values, and the confirm daily, I'm just going to say total confirmed. So total, I can say cases confirmed, but that's fine. Then I want to say this is actually the total deaths. No, with S, we'll remove this. The CFR, maybe we can change the CFR into a case fatality rate. So I'm just going to copy the whole thing, come down here because I love copy pasting, paste it. So then the recovery daily is going to be the total recoveries. So I'm going to say total recovery rate. Everything else is fine, I think. Additionally, I can make the columns a bit smaller, so we can use more here. There we go. Actually, let's go and make the column sizes a bit bigger, so we use all the space. So we go into column headers, we increase the size, and then we can maybe decrease this 3. 1, 2, 3. We also want to add a color, let's say, on these 3. So to do this, I can go into the field formatting in this case, not the conditional formatting. Select the average, confirm daily, and then add a background. So this is a confirm, so we use this color before, and we also want to apply it on the header and not the values. There we go. We also want to align all the headers into the center if possible. Actually, let me do it for everything. Try not do it for everything. Align center. There we go. And then we also want to go back to the field formatting, select the average depths. We give this one a background of red, and we apply it to headers and not the values. And then for the average recovery daily, I want to give it green because this is good. apply it into headers. As you can see, why did it went back? Let's see why it went back. We want to do alignment center, then alignment center. There we go. So everything is nice and clear now. Something that you can easily do in Power BI is to reorder your table based on what you want to see, which column you want to see first. So in case you want to see which country has the highest recovery rate, you click on it and you can see some countries have 100%. But this is the 100% is because we have 1 and 1, so obviously it's going to be 100%. But we have countries here like Vietnam that has 16 and 16, which is great. Macau 10 and 9 is amazing. Same with Thailand, pretty high recovery rates. And then if you want to see the low ones, is the ones that are on 0. Same case with, let's say you want to order it by total recoveries. I know it's China, it's going to win in all the first 3 China, but in, let's say, case fatality rate, that's a good one to see. So we can see Philippines, very high, San Marino, very high, US, quite high. The first 2 is because we have low numbers, but US is quite high. The next thing we want to do is to add 3 cards over here that have the average numbers for all countries, not per country. To do this, I'm simply going to copy this and paste it down here because it's easier. So I'm just moving it. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to change the size of it. So it's going to be much smaller. So I go into general and I want to set the width into 165 and the height to 122. Now I want to make the numbers and the title much smaller. So I'm going to set the title, I think 12, maybe 11, confirm cases. Yeah. I also need to change the title, and the title is going to be the average confirmed cases per day. So I'll copy and I'll paste it. So average confirmed cases per day. I want to change the data level to be much smaller, maybe like 30. Yeah, that's fine. And now I need to drag the average confirmed cases per day, which is the field we created. Oh, this doesn't work. I have to just replace it like this. There we go. So on average, but you can see it's the same as the totals over here, but it's much easier to just view this when you want to know how many new cases you get on average every day. And if you ask this question, then you're going to say about 2,200 new cases on average per day. Then I want to create the same thing for the other 2. So I copy this, I paste it twice. So one is going to be the, what do we have there? The deaths, and the other one is going to be the recoveries. So if I put this here, and then if I put this, let's see here, and then if I select all of them, I go into format, then distribute vertically, correct? I want to change the confirm into the deaths daily. So I just drag it on top. I want to change that to be, green, no green, red. There we go. But no, I want the strong red. So let's just select the strong red, and then this one is going to be the green one. And we also need to change it into the average recoveries per day. And I haven't removed this before. I think I've missed it. I go into modeling, then I remove the dot. So now you can very quickly, the titles, sorry. I need to change the titles. So this is the average deaths per day, and this is the average per day. This is too big, maybe make it a bit smaller. 10, 10, 10. So all of them are the same. So now you can very quickly get the average cases per day, depending what you want to see. If it's going to be new cases or confirmed cases, the average deaths per day, or the average recoveries per day. Next, I want to add a visual in this space that shows the country and the region, and then the total confirmed cases. To do this, I'm going to copy this visual above here and paste it, and then drag it down here and readjust it. So let's say like this. Then I want to change the style from vertical to be horizontal, and I also want to change the axis from date to be country and region. Then we want to make the data levels a lot smaller because that's too much. So maybe the size of it into 10. So now there we go. That's it. just because I show a wrong number, right? I show the cumulative, that's why it's so big. So now I have to switch the cumulative into the daily one. So if I add the daily ones, remove this one, there we go. So this 80K is this 80K over here, the 5K of South Korea is down here. So this is like a quick visual to visualize which countries have the most cases. And just because China is skewing everything, we can easily remove China and just see what's going on without China. So if we add, well, we're missing the select all. So if we go into classes control, add the select all, and then we select, I just added it, right? No single select, select all, sorry. And then select all and then remove China. So if we find, where is China? Mainland China, there we go. If we remove this one, then we scroll down, now we can see that after China is South Korea, Italy, Iran. I mean, you can probably see it before, but now it's much easier because they rescale depending of the mean and the max. Next, I want to change the title. So the title of this one is going to be confirmed cases by country and region, which is what we have in this breakdown. Next, I want to create exactly the same breakdown as this one. So I copy it and paste it. But this time it's going to be by province and state. So if I copy and paste it quickly, then I go into my values over here and I drag in front of country, the province and state, and then remove the country. So now we're going to have the same breakdown with different numbers, but this time it's going to be by province and state. Additionally, I want to make this slightly bigger and add another KPI. So quickly, let me change the width and the height. So let me check exactly how much I have. So the width of this one is 975. So 975, and the height is 381. That's correct. And also, I want to add a new KPI. The new KPI now is going to be again the total confirmed cases. So I'm going to drag the same field twice. So as you can see now, I've dragged it again. So we have the same next to each other, but this time I'm going to click here and I'm going to say show value as a percentage of grand total. So what I have now is that what this is saying to me is that these 67,000 cases is actually 72% of the total population. And also I want to add a conditional formatting here. So I go into the conditional formatting. I select the percentage of the confirmed daily, and I add the data bus. So this is actually showing me how much of the total is this province and state actually taking. Now we want to add a combo graph over here that shows all 3 confirmed deaths and recoveries per day in one go. To do this, I select this line and cluster column graph over here. Then I make it a bit smaller so it can actually fit over there. So put it here, make it a bit smaller. And then in the shared access now, I'm going to put my date because this is going to be by day. And then I'm going to make it date. And then in the column values, I'm going to put the confirmed daily and also the recovered daily, because this one has closer numbers to each other. For the deaths, I'm going to use a secondary access. And then for the deaths daily, which is this one over here, I put it as a line to start with. Then I go to change the colors. So my colors, actually before I change the colors, let's copy the format of this one. So we get the title and the borders quickly. There we go. Then we go to change the colors. First of all, let's remove the data labels. Go into data colors. I want my deaths to be the red. I want the confirmed to be this one. And I want the recoveries to be this one over here. Then I want to go into the x-axis and I want to change this from continuous to be categorical. The reason I'm doing this is so that I can use a secondary access and add a marker, which I'm going to show you how to do right now. On the y-axis, everything is fine for now. Line 0, show secondary. There we go. We have the secondary. So this secondary, I actually want to show the title of the secondary so we know what's going on. So this is the deaths. And then I also want to show the title of the primary. So title of this one. Okay. Next, I want to keep scrolling down and I want to add the markers. To add the markers now, let's find it quickly. Data labels, no, shapes. There we go. Show marker. So we've added the marker. We want to change the marker into, I don't know, maybe this one. And then we also want to stroke width, remove the total stroke. So there we go. Everything is removed now. So another thing I want to do is maybe change the colors to a bit lighter, because I think this is too much. Maybe this one. Then I want to change the title. So I go into the title and change the title into confirmed cases, deaths, and recoveries per day. And I also want to remove the legend in the bottom center and maybe make it a bit bigger so it's easier to read. Now, what you can get from this graph, if you make it bigger, you can see that for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, for the last 14 days, we have actually more recoveries than new cases and a lot less deaths, but because deaths are actually on a different scale, these are on the 50s and these ones are on the 2000s. So if we actually want to see everything on a closer scale, we can actually filter the last 8 days. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then scroll down. And then if we review this, do they have the same? No, they are still not on the same scale, but it's much clearer that you have more recoveries daily than confirms daily. Right, for the last 2 sections I have in the published report, I'm not actually going to show you how to do this just because this tutorial took a lot longer than I thought. But if you do want to do this, you can literally go online and take these numbers, they're actually hard-coded, create new measures in PowerBI. So right click here, new measure, and then set the number as it is exactly online or as I have it over here, and then create a graph out of it. And then this cumulative is literally the graphs we have over here, but instead of bar charts, I set them into markers and I add all 3 of them together. So you can actually do this yourself, but I'm not going to do it from scratch as it's going to take a lot longer. The last thing I'm going to show you though is how to change this map, as I said in the first tutorial, into the actual map of Power BI and explain why I think it's best to use the Power BI one. Right, so the reason I don't like this map is because it overstates the size of the bubbles. And just to explain you what I mean, I've only noticed this when we did this province and state breakdown down here. I've actually seen we need to change the title, so give me a second, let's put the correct title. Province and state breakdown. So I've only noticed this because Hebei is 72% of the data and then everything else is so much lower. So Hebei should have had a massive bubble and then everything else should be tiny. However, Hebei here, you can see that, oh come on, you can see Hebei here, which has 67,000 confirmed daily, equal size with South Korea, with Iran, with Italy, and these or other countries, they only have like 2,000. So it has 2,500 and 65,000 on the same size. Completely wrong. People can misinterpret this in so many ways. So to change this, I prefer to use this map over here. So if we switch to this map, then we have to actually, if you read what it says, we have to use the average long and lat. That's because, I don't know, it says. So if we use this map and we also change the map style to be the dark one, and I also want to change the data colors to be the same as before. I think it was this one. Nope, this one. And then I also want to do show all and change Hebei alone to be the red one, just because maybe not this red, maybe the strong one. And also I want to change the bubbles to be maybe minus 13. How much I have online? Come on, let's go. Right, so this interpretation now, what it does, it has one big bubble, which is Hebei, as we've seen down here, and then everything else is much smaller. But this is a much better interpretation because this actually reflects the numbers. So if we remove China, then we're going to have more bubble sizes. So to do this, we can go into country and region and unselect mainland China. So if we remove this, then straight away you can see that we have 3 other big bubbles. So after China, you can see that it's South Korea, then Iran, then Italy, and then everything else again is tiny. So this is why I think that this map is a much better representative of the data versus the previous map we had before. Right, so very quickly, let's add China back in so it correctly reflects all the data. So now if you want to publish your report and share it with friends and family, all you have to do is click on publish. Then you want to save the changes. You want to select the workspace you want to publish it. So I think you're only going to have my workspace if it's the first time you're using it. So if you click select there, it's going to actually publish it online in your workspace. And then if you do want to share it with friends, then you're going to need to, so you click here, which is the workspace, it published it. And then you're going to have to share with, so share over here. You click on share and then you type in their email addresses and then it's going to share it with your friends. Right, this is it for this video and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and you've gained enough value out of it, both in terms of how to run Python, how to create dashboards, and how to interpret results. If you do feel that you've gained enough value, I would really appreciate it if you click the like button, subscribe to my channel, enable notifications, and also share this video with your friends and family. Additionally, if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. In my next few videos are probably going to be around how to use this dashboard to create insights and also report on the true numbers versus what everyone else reports out there. So make sure you follow my videos and I'm going to see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching this.